and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I've got Coach Drew here, and we're going to chat about our top 3 favorite moments from Survivor US episode 12, I think.
I think it's episode 12, yeah.
Although episode 12 always sounds like it should be the final episode, but it's not.
It was definitely a good one. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like this was, if it's this one and then the finale, then yeah, this season is still whatever, but like we would have had a really good pre-merge and a great ending. And there's just everything in the middle that is just kind of like there.
Just everyone spinning their wheels for 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, there was a lull. There was a big lull there in the second act. But the third act ended up being very good, and the first act was very good. So that's honestly that I'll take it, and I think this is a good start to what we're hopefully gonna get in the finale.
Exactly. We've got Gabe here. At least something happened this episode. And it wasn't just an easy Mitch vote, which I think I predicted was going to happen last week, and I was pleasantly disappointed.
Well, yeah, I think I caught on pretty early on that, like, okay, well, Mitch didn't get much screen time. So it's like, okay, in his Boone episode, they're still not going to show. Like, he gets his whole thing at the beginning where it's like, oh, yeah, I think I might want to make a move. And it's like, no, you don't. And then that's pretty much it. You know, when the reward challenge, they're split up and he's at camp and Eva's not having any of either of them, which is, I was like, maybe it's not Mitch. Maybe it's Camilla. That'd be crazy if it was Camilla. I was pleasantly surprised that Shaheen went home because it just didn't seem like anything different was going to happen since the I don't know. When was the last time something crazy happened? Oh, when the meathead got voted out. That's
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
Yeah. We've been edged, so to speak, by Jeff Probst for a long time.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm easily forgive and forget. Like I said, this episode is like, okay, yeah, cool, we're good. I will go. I'm going to go to the city to watch the finale. I didn't know if I was going to or not. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it because I'd be happy with 3 of the 5 people winning. So I like those odds. I like the 2 of the 5. I really, if Kyle wins, it's like, okay, cool. But like, it's really Camilla or Joe. If Kyle wins, it's like, okay, cool. I'll take that, whatever. But that's where I draw my line.
I mean, amongst it all, I want to be so mad at Joe, but I really like Joe.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like
that's the thing. I really like him.
It's very so like, I know it's not a weird comparison, but like in Redemption Island, Rob is tolerable in this because he's the only one getting screen time, first of all, but like he's the only one that's shown to be, anything. And so when he finally wins, it's like, yeah, of course I'm happy what Rob won. Did you want me to say, yeah, I want, I don't know, Grant or Philip or any, like, come on. So with this, it's like, yeah, of course, I really like Joe, and I'd be and I'm glad that we have just consistently gotten content about Joe throughout the season that he can appeal to audiences as both a social and strategic player. Yes, some things are like him getting paranoid a couple of different times, specifically in this episode. That is kind of a negative flaw, but they're all paranoid. So like, that's not the craziest thing.
I do like it when he gets paranoid because it's like, okay, now you're playing. Now you're experiencing
Yeah,
this.
you're not top dog anymore. I mean, you could still be top dog and have sweat going down your neck.
Yeah. We've just got a couple of comments by Gabe. And I think, Gabe, you make a good point. It undermines the other duo in gameplay. Even if one of them reaches the end with Joe and Eva, they can say they played them, which I think that's important moving forward for the jury, that Eva especially doesn't really have much of a resume except for never using her idol, winning a challenge.
She could say, hey, like let's say Joe goes to the jury. Joe does seem like the type of person to be like, oh yeah, it was actually Eva running the entire thing, not me. And like try to hype her up as much as possible because that's how genuine he is. I also think that like if it's him, Eva, and Mitch, it does seem like a lot of people are pissed off at Joe that Eva could win in that situation too. I hope not, but that could be a thing that happens. But yeah, I feel like Eva's probably them reaches the end. Joe and Eva can say they played. Yeah, and it's true. It's true. But I feel like Joe would be able to articulate it better. I just think that the people might be more pissed off at him.
I think Joe could always just he led the group, a group who wanted to be led by him. He led that it was lucky that they were so happy to go along with it.
Yes, and
so he didn't have to do anything else.
Yeah, it started basically on the swap, and then it just became a steamroll. And Joe was separated from Eva during the swap, so like he was able to find his own people at the swap tribe and get them to link up with Eva at the merge. And then and that's why it's so crazy that Shaheen just thought, oh man, I was the one running the game. It's like, yeah, you probably were in real time, but people are going to see what they're going to see. And people are seeing this duo, this very out in the open duo. And you know, that's, and as the audience members, it's like, yeah, that's all we're seeing too. I'm curious to see how everyone kind of felt about him out there.
And before we go into your third moment, Gabe points out, no matter the ending, I think this season is lower tier. It falls into Ghost Island and South Pacific area.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. It's not.
They're not all going to be winners.
Yeah, it's not the drizzling shits. It's just the season that happened. Nothing overly problematic happened in it. It had some good episodes. It dragged, and it's having some good episodes at the end. Whoop! Like that's that's really where we're at, and that's fine because
it's fine. It's 48 seasons. They're not all going to be diamonds.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, what's your third favorite moment or third notable moment this week?
Both the challenges. I really like both the challenges this episode. It did annoy me that they like immediately turned the reward challenge into like, oh yeah, it's endurance, but we're gonna speed this up, so let's do this. And then immediately people start following. It's like, okay, no, let them see how long they can push themselves. But I understand.
Jeff's not trying to stay there for 12 hours anymore. He did that 20 years ago when he was a young man, and now he's like, no.
Yeah, and so I understood it. I just wish just let them do it for a bit. Let's just see. But it was a fun challenge, and then the immunity challenge with Joe winning once again. Yeah, I mean he could potentially just win out during the finale, or he goes down with the fire. Like it's entirely possible. But yeah, both challenges, and then also added to that the reward for the first reward challenge with everyone getting their Shaheen reading his letter, and I guess everyone got their letters, but and Joe's child read the little people handwriting. Like it was really cute.
Well, you know how I always shit all over family and friends moments as intensely boring. I liked how this didn't feel like it dragged on. I felt like I cared. I feel like the editing's been so up and down this season, but I watched that bit and I went, oh, I didn't hate that. That felt sort of, maybe because there was only 3 of them, it felt quick, concise, and lovely.
Yeah, you get everyone's mini story about this, and then there's kind of ends. And like obviously we get back to that. We show what happens at camp, and Eva's just, oh, I don't like these people. I miss my people. It's like, oh, I hate you. I don't hate her, but like, no. Yeah. So that's it was a fun segment. It was a fun segment to the show. And like I said, both challenges were entertaining.
Definitely. Oh, Gabe points out Jeff doesn't have good knees anymore to stay that long. That's so true. He's a very old man and his face work's gotten better. It was really puffy there for a couple of years, and now it's like settled down, and he looks ambiguous 50, which I think is a good look.
And he's 60. And
is he?
And he's 60. So I'm barely certain he's 60 or like 61 or something like that.
He's looking good. Ambiguous 50. Yeah. Is he 50 or is he 55? I don't know. Anyway, what's your number 2 moment?
Just going back to Joe, just everything dealing with like his sister and him not coming to terms with it, but him like everything dealing with Joe in this episode was specifically that I feel like it would probably resonate. We've gotten these little Joe moments throughout the season where he's talked about, coming from a mixed family and coming from this and coming from that. And then I feel like this is the cherry on top, but not in a good way. Of just like, I don't think we're going to get any more of Joe's backstory, but I think this is the perfect ending to all the stories that we've been told throughout the season. You know what I mean? So like, and then he had his little moment on the beach where he just kind of like I said, he just had his. Is it coming to? I don't know if it's coming to terms because I guess it did happen like right before he got, or like almost right before he got out there. So like, yeah, I really enjoyed that, and like like you said earlier, it just. As much as you don't want to, like, you just really want Joe to win.
Yeah, I think he's had a fascinating rounding out of his character, and it makes a lot of sense, his partnership with Eva, when you place it in the context of this very obvious trauma that he's still dealing with. Yeah. And lo and behold, has the opportunity to protect a sister on the island, and you even hear him call her sister quite a few times. So I just thought it was a really interesting way. And of course, like, his story is a gut punch. And another, along with the autism stuff, another really important story to be out there and for people to discuss, and handled in in a fairly sensitive way as well. And I do think that's what this season has been good for. Learning. That's not what we come to Survivor for. But I think in this day and age, a show that big has to have that sort of social responsibility to, number one, as much as they can, have that disability diverse cast, and also not be afraid to discuss issues that are facing the world today. And so I applaud them for that. And again, the editing's been hit and miss, but I think the overall production of this it's been very interesting on that front.
Yeah, it felt genuine. It felt like this is a real moment, and we just happen to because we always have cameras on, we want to show you this. Because I'm assuming that Joe has been talking about this, I won't say all season, but I'm sure this is not the first time that it's been brought up. But I think this was the moment that they felt like, hey, we should show this this exact time that he was talking about this. And there's a lot of Joe content this episode, positive, negative, depends, but like this is as positive as you can possibly get despite the circumstances.
And we've got Gabe. Well, okay. The edit leaning heavily on the emotional stories now since the players aren't giving much gameplay. Well, yeah, okay. That's also probably a pretty good point. I mean, we had a lot of Camilla and Kyle chatting, but they really were the only ones.
Oh yeah, and that goes right into my number one, which is everything that Camilla. It was I was starting to get really frustrated early on because it's like, oh, Kyle doesn't want to do anything. Camilla wants to do something. Tell me, if you've heard this one before, and Kyle's still just like, I don't know. It's like, Kyle, please, you're at 6, you're at 6, or
this
whatever
is your
number they
last
were
chance.
And so they make up this elaborate lie, basically this scheme, and everyone falls for it. Camilla's been trying to do things, and finally something happens, and then Shaheen, he also gets aggravated because now, oh well, Joe. So I'm going to start burying Joe then because Joe apparently it's and it's all this, and these two can just kind of sit on the side and just be like, okay, let's just watch this. They'll deal with each other, and then we can move on to 5, where now Mitch is probably sitting in the middle, and it's still an uphill battle because they should have done something at 7, but like I really hope Mitch doesn't I don't know. It scares me. I think that Mitch probably still just goes with Eva and Joe just because he sucks, but like I hope he goes with Camilla and Kyle. Oh no.
What's interesting, I have seen that there are rumors that the promo spoils the next episode by you can vaguely see Mitch coming in on the jury after Shaheen. So I don't know if you've seen those rumors on the internet.
No, I haven't, and I'm glad I didn't know that until now.
Sorry.
But also, I will say that if that is the case, if I were to go look at the promo right now, like because they always re-release promos on YouTube and blah blah blah. If I were to go watch the promo on YouTube right now and it's still there, that would lead me to believe that it's a red herring and it's not real, because at that point there would have been a week that they could have changed it and hadn't, which would push me in the direction they purposely threw that in there or purposely didn't take it out of there because it's not what people think it is.
Well,
but if I go watch it and it's gone, then I would say that adds, credence to the fact that it's probably a spoiler.
I mean, in terms of the narrative, Gabe is right. Jeff has been saying it's a season of duos. Makes sense. Both duos make Final Four. That would be a nice little literal bookend. Do you honestly think, truly, and honestly, that Joe and Eva have no idea that Carl and Camilla are working together?
I don't believe they do. I think they might now, maybe, but like even then, I don't, because Eva's sitting there this episode saying, "Yeah, this is 4 that has to go to the end." Like I think it was her that said it. It's like, and never do we hear, oh, but like, will Kyle turn on Camilla? Like, it's like they are so, they live in their own little world, and that's fine because you've been living in your own little world for so long that like anything crazy. That's why it's so easy to believe when people are like, oh yeah, David. It's so easy to take out David because once he strays from what y'all have built, it's like, okay, he's clearly not with us. Let's get rid of him. When it seems like Shaheen is starting to stray, even though he's not starting to stray from what you guys have built, okay, we got to get rid of him. Yeah, I think it's obvious now because we're like what Gabe said. Like we're at 5, and like obviously they're not duoed up with Mitch.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't see the two of them realizing it maybe until now.
Mm. Which is just brilliant. And Camilla, the little cherry on top of the lie with the vote on Mitch to sort of split the vote charade thing, I thought was just theater,
Yeah,
chef's kiss. I'm assuming that's what she was doing
I'm
for
pretty sure
voting.
Camilla has shown herself to be very strategic and smart throughout this entire thing. I think everything she does has been calculated. Um, I don't think that she was just kind of doing it for shits and gigs. Like I think that there is a point to everything that she has done, and I hope, and I think that she can because she showed that she is a decent talker. I hope that she can articulate that if and when she makes the finals, because it's like, yeah, okay, cool. This is the like if it's not going to be Joe, it should absolutely be her because
Mm.
she was technically on the outside of the big alliance and yet somehow still was able to never really been in any type of real danger.
Mm. So, why do you think she waited so long? Is it because she couldn't get Kyle to
She couldn't get Kyle.
lip
Kyle,
yet?
like, yeah, it's all season. It's been like they've been showing us that they like we should be waiting. It seems like the editor's trying to tell us we should be waiting for when Kyle pulls the trigger, and it's like, okay, well, if we're watching this from Kyle's point of view, this is aggravating because he should be trying to pull the trigger weeks ago,
Mm.
especially because he's in the no. He's in the cool people alliance.
Yeah.
Like Camilla could, but she's with if Kyle's her duo, she's relying on him to be like, hey, I'm the last vote you need. Let's do this. And until Kyle says that, and it's like, okay, well, I'm guessing twiddle my thumbs until Kyle decides, hey, and she's not going to blow up his game because
Yeah.
she knows that that is a definite two that they have. So she can't blow it
Yeah.
up. So I think that's why. I think that's she's just been kind of waiting for Kyle to like pull his head out of his ass and like come do something.
Well, Gabe just said, Coach Drew holding out hope the nerdy girl archetype Camilla wins. He'll get 2 in a row if she wins.
Yeah, I guess. I Bianca was my winner pick this season, so but yeah, I would that would be great if Camilla won. Like
I would love that.
that would be 4 women in a row, which has never happened before.
I think for me, I would like either Joe or Camilla. Camilla, for all the reasons we just said. Joe, because you don't sit on top of an alliance for that long without doing something right. So you've got to give him props for that. I feel like Eva's just gone along for the ride. I feel like Mitch hasn't really made a move. So, I'd be happy to see him out next. And Kyle, he could have done so. He missed potential for Kyle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if it was here or somewhere else, but so everyone's been comparing Kyle to Albert from South Pacific, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll make a move, I'll make a move, I'll make a move eventually, I'll make a move eventually, and it's like you've run out of time, you can't do that anymore, and now you're sitting at the end saying, hey, I thought about it, and it's like, yeah, but
Mm.
you didn't. At least Kyle has now, okay, you did do this. Let's see if it pays off for you. Hopefully it
So
doesn't.
if you got Carl and Camilla in the final 3, who takes credit for their duo? Like, how does that work for them?
I mean, I would hope that Camilla could articulate, hey, I knew about all this because Kyle was telling me, but also I knew I wasn't in any danger because of this. I knew that, like, when we swapped, I knew how to phrase things, make sure people knew that me and Kyle weren't together. Um, During the Shaheen vote, I did this, that, and the other. Like, she can separate her game from not only big alliances because she wasn't any, isn't in any. She wasn't in any, and she could separate her game from Kyle because she did a lot of these things just based off of vibes or whatever. Kyle can say, "Oh, I thought I was too early for this, and it was too early for that." But I had this big alliance, which he was a big part of that big alliance. I think that the way Kyle wins is sitting next to Mitch and Eva.
Yeah. And Gabe says, Kyle is a lawyer, though. It actually would be really interesting to hear, if the final three, and this would be great, was Joe, Camilla, and Kyle. I'd be fascinated to hear how Camilla and Kyle sort of debate each other over their work. I think that would be fascinating to watch. And Joe just going, I don't know, I was just lovable. Everyone just loved me and didn't want me to leave. And I'm fast and I'm strong.
Yeah, and then David probably still won't vote for him, but whatever.
Whatever. So who is the final three you'd like to see, and who is the final three you think you'll see?
Well, that's hard because if I want Camilla to win, I don't need Joe there. So I guess Camilla, Kyle, and like Mitch. What I think will probably happen is, see, I don't think that at this point anyone would get rid of Mitch. Why would you get rid of Mitch? Like, I think that we'll just say I expect to see Kyle, Camilla, and Eva.
Well, okay.
Kyle, Camilla, and Eva,
Gabe has said for exciting trouble joke.
Yeah.
But for the entertainment purposes, that's what I'd like to see, and I think Joe would probably take it in that instance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The best part about Joe sitting at the end would be whatever David decides to do.
Yeah.
What tank top David wears for Final Tribal, like, ugh. It feels like Eva, Kyle, and Joe. Okay.
Yeah, realistically,
if it's Eva, Kyle, and Joe, I think Kyle could maybe sneak. I still think that Joe probably still wins, but I think Kyle could snipe a few votes there.
Yeah. Now I've overthought the entire thing, and now I don't know what I think now. That maybe they'll take Mitch because he could never win. Maybe they'll take Eva for the same reason.
I don't see why anyone would get rid of Mitch now.
Well, if Camilla has any say in it, she's going to the end with Eva and Mitch, because that would be the smart. That would be the thing she would do.
That would be the perfect thing to do.
So, anything else you'd like to add before we go into the final episode this week?
No, I'm excited. The last week's episode got me excited to watch the finale. Because, like I said, I was.
Sorry, Dewey got distracted by Gabe.
I saw.
Who gets Bee's Knees Award? Oh, just that Jeff Probst was standing. He gets it because he was standing out in the rain, the poor thing. So he doesn't need that at his advanced age. Anyway, sorry. Go on, Coach Drew.
Oh, no. I didn't plan on going out to the city to watch the finale. Now I'm going out to the city to watch the finale. So, like, that's all it took was one episode to be like, okay, we're good. Let's go.
I mean, look. You and we are shills for this show. Yeah. I don't think any bad season. We're coming back no matter what. We're coming back to the T. Like, they've got us now. We're not going to ever just go, well, we're never watching again.
Yeah,
we're not like
whenever people say that, I'm just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
No, we will be there regardless.
I don't. Oh, I think I'm done with it. It's like, you're done with the season, probably. You're not done with the show.
No. And even in my darkest moments, I still was like, let's watch it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Come on, make me feel better.
Yeah, we also get the season 50 past Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. this Wednesday?
So it's been heavily implied on the Survivor CBS Instagram. They've all but said that, and it would be really shitty if they were doing that and it's like, oh, actually, we're just meant that this, like, it's actually a red herring, because you're gonna put then all the marketing for the finale. You better deliver on that. But also 49's is getting hosed. Like, oh, you don't care about that.
Oh, that poor cast. Anyway, I'll put on our thingies, and thank you, Gabe, for engaging. It's really awesome to see you. Here we go. Instagram. Yep. Mucky Hope Productions. Have a look at the Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for cheeky, naughty times. Apparently, can tell Mucky wrote that, because who else? And also, we're on Spotify as well. So make sure. Oh, I'll turn that off. Come on. There we go. So, yep, as Gabe says, we need fans to tune in for this finale. And we need fans to tune in to us next week, probably Tuesday night, when we talk about the finale as well. So if you are a fan, we'll get together. And it's just, if you don't like the long, I promised Mucky, I said, look, I'm going to try and do the shorter videos, because I know he went for 2 hours the other night, bless him. And so we get it done.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge.
I think this might be
Mucky,
the longest we've done. This might be the longest we've done in a while. So
exactly. Mucky won't hear this because he hates Survivor US, but I'm going to challenge him to talk for less than 2 hours next time. I
think we're supposed to talk on Sunday. I think we're doing a Australia versus the world thing on Sunday. And it's like, oh no.
That's right. That actually, let's plug that Sunday night. We're going to get together and talk about Australia versus the world, Australian Survivor. So if you're pumped for that, we've got some fun returnee seasons. We've got Australia versus the world and Survivor 50. I think we've got some fun stuff coming up, and we can play who's on DVD cover for finale. I've never seen a Survivor DVD in my entire life.
I've never seen one. I've seen the covers of all of them, but I've never owned any of them. I probably should do that.
Do you have a DVD player?
I have a PlayStation.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I've got a lot of DVDs and nowhere to play them, but time marches on. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you're just tuning in now, add a comment what you want us to talk about for next week and who's your winner pick and all that stuff. And we'll see you next week. Bye.